talking about the sun, the history, and all sorts of very, very interesting things for an exciting project that has just come online. Our guests are Harmony Johnson, Director of Communications for the Canoga Conference. Harmony, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And we also have Talbot Ingram, who is Project Manager for FLS Energy. Welcome to the program, Tal.
Ned, thanks for having me.
Let us start off our conversation today with Harmony. Tell us a little bit about the history and the background of Canoga Conference, because it goes back a long way and it's a fascinating story.
Yes, it is, Ned. Canoga Conference has celebrated its 80th birthday last year. We were founded in 1928. We're an Episcopal conference center, independent nonprofit, and environmental stewardship is very much in Canoga's DNA. From the very beginning, more than 80 years ago, we've practiced and taught conservation here on our campus.
I had the pleasure of getting a tour of the solar installation and the grounds here several weeks ago before we got together for this interview, and it was fascinating, some of the stories of recycling wood in the cabins, and it really has been a part of the Canoga Conference spirit to pay attention to what's happening to the natural environment, it seems.
Very much so. We have a 1,400-acre campus here in Hendersonville, and we want to protect that. We have a 30-acre lake and 39 historic cottages that were built back in 1909 when Canoga was originally founded as a private resort.
And these days, the usual visitors are?
They come from all over the globe. Primarily, our folks come from the southeast. We welcome about 25,000 guests a year to a variety of programs. We offer conferences, personal retreats. We have 2 summer camps on property, plus a residential outdoor education program.
With all these people coming to visit for all these programs, it leads inevitably to the question of keeping them clean, providing their food and services, doesn't it?
And we use a lot of water in that endeavor. We, up until this year, primarily heated our water with propane, and we used about 15,000 gallons of propane to do that. I think a couple years ago we figured out that the average guest uses 100 gallons of hot water a day, and that's not just showers, that's washing the dishes in our dining hall, it's doing their laundry for the rooms that they stay in. And it's a lot of water, and it's a lot of propane that we're burning up.
Using 100 gallons of water a day and that much propane for all the services, it seems to me that there might have been something more to it than just the economics of how much it was costing.
I think everybody knows the cost of propane is rising, so we certainly wanted to reduce our cost. That's just a responsible thing to do as a nonprofit, is to spend our money wisely. But we also wanted to reduce our carbon footprint, reduce our reliance on a non-renewable energy source.
I had a few brief moments speaking with Stanley Hubbard, the president here at Canoga Conference, again several weeks ago, and he was very eloquent about the positions and the commitment to basically the term these days is creation care, and it really does seem to be reflected in the decision-making process here at Canoga, looking at a project like this that we're about to actually talk about, all the solar energy here.
Yes, it does. I think I mentioned we have a history of conservation. We used reclaimed wood when our chapel was built in the 1940s. We teach environmental stewardship at our summer camps, at the Mountain Trail Outdoor School, our residential outdoor education program. And now that we've installed the solar thermal hot water system, we have an even bigger teaching tool.
As noted, let's turn to Tal with FLS Energy, the project manager for this notably large installation for domestic hot water. Tell us a little bit about the overall system, just in general senses now, because as Harmony pointed out, these folks use a lot of hot water.
They do use a lot of hot water, and the system in general consists of 11 different systems throughout the Canoga Conference Center. And the largest of the systems is 102 panels, and that's on the conference center itself. Then we have 10 other buildings with a range of solar thermal projects on them. They range from 2-panel projects up to 8 panels. And what we've been able to do is cut the use of their hot water through the large conference center, their laundry, their showers. But we've also cut the hot water use through the residents, the people who actually live here and work at Cayuga as well. So what we've done is we've helped in creating a teaching tool, and we've helped Cayuga achieve their goals of sustainability.
Just to clarify, FLS has installed for us 131 solar thermal panels over 11 buildings on our campus. The vast majority of those are on the Cayuga Lake Inn. The others are mostly on staff residences.
So this is really a comprehensive approach to reducing the use of the propane for hot water across the board on the campus, not just a little show and tell type system.
When we were planning this system with FLS, we analyzed all of the buildings across campus to measure which ones use the most hot water, where these panels would have the most benefit. That's why they're not on every single building, because it's not necessarily most effective on every single building on our campus.
Such as buildings that face north, away from the sun?
Exactly. We do have some of those.
Tal, an installation like this, which is so comprehensive, really must have taken a little bit of time to plan. Were there any interesting aspects of it besides the fact that it was just so large?
There are many interesting aspects. We at FLS have really enjoyed working with everybody here at Cayuga, especially Sandy Lynch and Stan. They've just been wonderful to work with. They've really been a big part of what we've done as far as how we're going to run our pipes and working as a community to what they're trying to achieve and how to set the panels to their needs and to fulfill their needs as best as possible.
Riding in here to Cayuga Conference, it's obviously a beautiful campus. Just great old buildings, the stonework in the cabins and so on. What kind of challenges do you have retrofitting new technology solar panels onto buildings that, as Harmony pointed out, have been around for generations?
Retrofitting is always a fun challenge. It's a mix between the aesthetics, making the panels look good and fit in with an existing building, and actually piping in the solar from the roofs down to the hot water source. It's always an interesting puzzle. It's always a challenge. Every building becomes its own little puzzle, and that's something that we at FLS take great pride in, and making each system fit that particular home and application.
Coming in and looking at it visually to see all the panels, it really is a very subtle installation. You can't miss them, let's be clear on that. They're not camouflaged, but it really does seem to flow with the lines of the campus and the building so that you notice them, but they just seem to fit.
That's something that we have taken great pains to make sure that everybody is happy to see. We've found a balance between the most efficient portion of where we can put the panels on the roof, as well as the aesthetic part where people are happy to see the panels.
Harmony, the solar installation that FLS has just completed is not actually the first solar installation for Cayuga. You've collectively dabbled in this before. That's
correct, Ned. In 2005, we received a series of anonymous donations between 2005 and 2007 to install solar hot water at the Bob Campbell Youth Campus. That's home to Camp Bob, our outreach camp in the summertime, and during the school year, that's home to the Mountain Trail Outdoor School, our outdoor education program. We have 8 cabins at the Bob Campbell Youth Campus. Each set of 2 cabins shares a bathhouse, and all 4 of those bathhouses have solar hot water, and that installation was finished in 2007. And that was a good way for Cayuga to sort of dip its toe in the solar energy world to see what a difference that made. And it really made an immediate difference as far as reducing our propane costs, as far as providing a teaching tool for those children. The solar panels were very prominently displayed on that campus, as well as the storage tanks for that reason, so they would be noticeable to the students who are attending our programs there, and it prompts a lot of questions. So it's a great way to teach future generations about environmental sustainability.
The layout for at least one of the systems that I had the opportunity to see previously was really interesting is right there with the students in the building, so that it's got to be generating questions and interest from them to actually just see it in operation right in the buildings.
Absolutely. And when FLS came on board last year with this project, they further helped us along with that. We've installed a solar hot water system at the dining hall on this campus, and it has 3 large solar storage tanks that are right there in the middle of the dining room. So as kids are eating 3 meals a day, they can't miss them. They can't help but prompt questions.
And what is the reaction from the students, the younger folks specifically in this? Are they very interested, mildly interested, or walk on by?
I think it prompts a lot of curiosity. It's a great way for the instructors to engage children in this kind of technology. Overall, this project has been very positively received by all of our guests that we've had since the installation earlier this year.
That was actually my next question. You were ahead of me. What's the reaction from the general public, the adults that are coming through, seeing the panels and seeing it? Again, is it as effective a learning tool for them?
People are excited. When you come to the Cayuga Lake Inn, you can't miss the panels. And I think people are excited to see a nonprofit doing something on this large of a scale and to learn what an affordable project this actually was to do. It's something that's within reach of just about any nonprofit, especially one that uses large volumes of hot water.
But what would you guess would be the savings over the long haul, having already installed the system and things up and running?
Over the next 25 years, the system is projected to save us around $700,000.
That is nothing to sneeze at, not to mention using that much less propane, which is a fossil fuel. Tal, turning to you, Harmony just mentioned the large-scale system here. Tell us a little bit about what was actually entailed with it. There's a lot of solar panels up there, but there's a lot of piping and tanks and coolant and transfers and pumps involved with this.
That is true. We have a lot of pipe run from our panels down to our heat exchange tanks. That entails a lot of labor, and we've been fortunate to keep working through these tougher economic times, and we're very proud to say that we're a growing company, and we're helping in creating green jobs in the local community. And through all that piping, we've run approximately several thousand feet of pipe, large diameter pipe, to move all of our transfer fluid. We have our heat transfer fluid, which we've used about 230 gallons. We have 6,000 gallons of thermal mass, which will continue to create solar energy on cloudy days. Right now, even without the sun out, we're still pre-feeding all of their solar hot water needs with about 120 degree water. Even though the sun has not been out, it's stored from yesterday's sun.
We have been appreciating some long-lost rain in the region, so we are recording at a spare room. They were kind enough to allow for our use at the inn. And it's fascinating that backup, as it were, with the thermal mass is able to produce 120 degree water. That's pretty darn good. What is the thermal mass? Is it a magic solution?
Well, it is magic, but it's not a magic solution. The 6,000 gallons is just a pH-balanced water.
So you're transferring the heat from the solar panels to the 6,000 gallons of storage and then taking it back out from there for the actual applications?
That's correct. Just through a simple heat exchange process through flat plate heat exchangers, we move the heat from the panels into our 6,000 gallons of thermal mass, and then from there we take it and we exchange that heat again into our boilers. And that is the heat that the conference center in general is using, and especially the inn is able to take advantage of.
Since the system itself is literally just now kicking online this week, by the time this is broadcast, it will be up and running fully, I guess, for almost 1 week. You're getting 120 degree water now. What would you guess the upper limit would be for how hot that storage tank is going to get once everything settles in?
Well, right now we've had several days of nice sunny weather, which has been great for our solar productivity. And we've had our tanks, right now, they've been topping out at 160 degrees. which is something we'll continue to work on, and that'll probably end up being around 170 degrees of 6,000 gallons of thermal mass.